Very famous.
Yeah.
I waited
Just the other
to
day.
record until after you were done.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, sorry. It's my ugly
Lynn
lamp.
is on. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Melissa. All right, we'll give it a few minutes here. Sorry to move it, but I'm going to be on the road tomorrow, and it was either cancel it or move it. So I hope it seems like at least for all of you, it wasn't too big of an inconvenience.
Where are you off to, Nick?
I'm going to North Carolina. We are doing a kind of a soft launch of our Soil Saviors program.
Oh,
Should I show, do you want to see the website?
yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up. So this is what we were working on up at the jailhouse when I did, I think that rapid belief change live stream about a month ago.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Somebody's echoing. Okay, so this is Soil Saviors, which is a product. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but it's a product that goes into soil and the microbes in it and the minerals combine to consume and digest toxins, heavy metals, pesticides, any chemicals in soil and turn them into plant food. So the microbes add carbon molecules to the toxins. And so these are all the videos that we did up at the jailhouse and our logo. And yeah, so this is all the stuff we put together.
Well, that's incredible.
So we're just getting ready to kind of soft launch it. It took us quite a while to build this up. Here was a kind of a webinar style pitch that I put together with me and Dr. Will. And yeah, so that's what we're doing this weekend is getting ready to launch this.
Wow, it's amazing. Is it just America
Yeah.
or?
Hi, Nick.
It's
That is
just
fantastic.
thank you.
Absolutely wonderful.
I'll send
Are
you all
you?
the.
I was going to say, are you looking for investors at all?
Well, we're kicking that around. Hopefully, we get a bunch of sales this weekend, and we kind of self-fund is the goal. For right
Are
now.
you launching it eventually worldwide?
Yeah, we'd like to, of course. Right now, we're focused locally because sometimes shipping
Yeah.
agriculture
Especially
products.
at the moment.
Well, shipping agriculture products abroad with microorganisms, there's some regulations and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll need probably a legal team for that first.
Probably.
But soil has just lost everything because of the way we farmed over the years, and the nutrients aren't there in the vegetables and in the stuff that's grown anymore. I think
It's
that's just
it's
incredible.
why
Send me some stuff, will you?
people are
Please.
so overweight and so starved of nutrients because there's
Yeah.
calories, but there's no, like, think about it. If you farm a piece of land for 100 years, every crop takes out micronutrients and we put back in nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium. And we're not putting, and maybe a little calcium here and there, but like we're not putting in all of the 80 different. So this we go to like seaweed and we have bog mud and all these different things that are super nutrient mineral rich combined with over 1,000 strains of microorganisms that are also supposed to be in our soil. And so that's what I've been working on for the last couple months here.
Wow.
Amazing.
Put together a bunch of
Very
hypnotic suggestions and identity statements and a bunch of things throughout the page copy. And so that's been fun. All right, Gwen's on. Hi, Gwen. Angela made it. Nice to see you. Veronica. Darlene's on as well. Hi, Sunita.
So do you have anything to do with the Sadhguru who's also doing Safe Soil
No,
project?
no, I'm gonna have to look into that. I know who Sadhguru is, but
Yeah, he's got a project, Safe Soil, it's called.
okay, no. It's all in the collective consciousness, right?
Yeah,
How funny is
yeah.
that?
Okay.
No, I will thank you for letting me know because I will look that up.
Yeah, it would be cool if you could I'm not sure what their project or whatever they're doing to save the soil, but
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Andrew says that's what got me into nutrition and the link to mental health back in 2012. The Soil Association is worth looking. Yeah, I mean, if you're not I hate to say like I wish we could get it from our food these days, but it's hard to. So you need the right supplements, and most of them are in the wrong form, and they're made in the lab and not bioavailable. And so anyway, that's a whole other call. We'll do someday maybe. All right, so tonight we're gonna get into quantum modeling. Jasmine, am I recording? I am recording. Okay, so we've done a couple calls on tapping into the quantum field, and I think I've gotten some really good feedback from all of you that you had great experiences with that. And I was thinking of what to do this week, and obviously I've got a whole list of things to bring you. But the idea came to me that I've done before is for quantum modeling. And so this is the idea that we can place our intention and our mind into the same frequency that somebody that we look up to is on. And if you ever spend time with people that are just brilliant at what they do, people like this is why I like to hang out with Freddie. I've been to a lot of Tony Robbins events, and I will use these strategies to try to be in the same brainwave space as them. If you get into rapport, and the way I define rapport is energetic resonance and syncing up. If you get into rapport with people who are geniuses, you will start to have the same thoughts as them. You know, when you hang out with your best friend and you guys tell the same jokes and you finish each other's sentences and you're synced up like that. That also happens when you're learning from somebody or when you're with somebody that you admire, or when you're even watching and thinking about someone who's very skilled. And we have mirror neurons in our brains that can extract what somebody is doing and learn it at an unconscious level just from watching them. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to have you pick a few people that you want to model and that you want to share the brainwave frequency with and tap into their skills and their thought patterns. And we're going to go into the quantum field and energetically tune you into that. So we'll probably do, I don't know, maybe 3 of those today. Keep it short, in and out. And yeah, any questions or thoughts on that? Yes, Gwen.
Does it have to be someone living?
No, not at all. Great question. So this is, I mean, Tesla and Edison and so many writers and artists, they would just go into a meditative state and see the thing. Like Tesla was famous for this. He would say he could see a whole machine take form in his mind. He would go into the quantum, it would form in his mind, and he would know exactly how to build it when he came out of that. And I also think, we talked about being selfless a few weeks ago. I also think Tesla didn't hold on to anything. He just gave everything away. And so I think that sort of creates a clear channel for more things to come to him. That's another topic. But okay, so over the last 2 weeks, hold on, I think I just disconnected. Test. Okay. Over the last few weeks, we tapped into that space, that frequency. So you're all very familiar with that, right? We had some good experiences, some different dimensions, some downloads. All right. So we'll do this quantum modeling today. So let's take a moment and write down 3 people that you would want to maybe have their skills or their mindset on something specific. So maybe it's for something business related. selling. Maybe it's a performance, some type of performer, artistic ability. Maybe it's Milton Erickson. Or maybe you'll think of someone even better than that. All right, so take a moment. And I've actually been doing this with, the more time you spend with someone, the more powerful this is. So if you've studied with someone quite a bit and you kind of know their philosophies and their frameworks and their language patterns, then this is really powerful. So there's quite a few hypnotists that I've spent quite a bit of time around. And so I've been doing this lately where if I've read their books or I've trained with them, I'm imagining this process and tapping into this frequency. And I think it really helps. And I did this with I think it's in the Metamorphosis program. I did this a few years ago with that group, week 5 or 6 on modeling. And people would go in and they would get advice from the people they looked up to, and like the answers they got surprised them. It seemed like it was something that came from beyond their own conscious mind. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, does anyone want to share who they picked?
Oh, I'll go for it. It's Gwen.
Okay.
So Ben Hogan,
Okay.
Mickey Wright, who actually had the most gorgeous golf swing of all, and Milton Erickson. I'll go with those 3 for today.
That's great. You're gonna be hypnotizing a lot of golfers, aren't you? Okay, perfect. Doreen?
Yeah, I have David Snyder because he's so fluent and he's funny, and I love his Sparrow. What's it? From Pirates of the Caribbean, he does that thing.
Oh, Captain Jack Sparrow. David Snyder does?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
Jack Sparrow, and also like Groovy Baby,
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know David. I know David's content really well.
Okay.
Trained with him.
And
Okay.
Marissa Peer,
Uh-huh.
I trained with her, and yeah, she's pretty out there.
Good.
And Dimash Kudaibergen, he's a best singer in the world. He's a perfect performer. So yeah.
I'm not even sure what you just said, but I believe you.
Oh, Dimash Kudaibergen.
Will you put that in the chat? I'll look him. It's a him?
Yeah, he's a singer from Kazakhstan. He's
Okay.
unreal.
I will look him up for sure.
Yeah, I'll write down the song.
All right, a few more of you look anxious to share.
I'll share. What I really love to do is to embody tap into a woman's frequency rather than all these men that I admire. And I am having trouble thinking of someone that is really what I want to embody. So that makes me want to do some research, and why am I not already mentoring under someone like that? But Melanie Ann Layer, do you know?
Uh-huh, I know who she is.
Yeah, so that's the coaching that I want to do, and mindset and everything. But I'd like, if anyone knows of a woman on stage, speaking on stage, I'd love to hear some suggestions.
Okay.
Look up Jen Gottlieb. She's the best. Jen Gottlieb.
Okay, thank you.
I've heard her name. All right, anyone else before we get into action here? Diana, was that your hand?
Joe Dispenza,
Love it.
Turner, and Marissa Peer.
Who was the second one?
Turner,
Who's Turner?
the artist.
Okay. I don't even know who that is. So all right. I think I might have told you this in the storytelling, in the advanced storytelling. But when I was going to Joe Dispenza, I was talking to a friend, and I was telling her, she was going to the event with me, and I was telling her about my new induction, which was the one I told you about, standing in front of a fire, like telling a story. There I was looking into the flames, and you know how when you stare into the flames of a fire, you just go into a trance. So I was telling her about my like induction doing those looping stories. And then we're sitting at Joe Dispenza like 3 days later, and he goes, I got up one morning at 4 and I couldn't sleep. So I started a fire and I was just looking at the flames of the fire. And you know how you just kind of go into a trance when you stare into the fire? And I was like, son of a bitch. He just stole my induction. But I think what happens is you start to get in the same, you start thinking in the same direction as people, or you start to share that. Like, it's almost like I was anticipating going to this event and already accessing these frequencies. So I don't know if I got it from him or he got it from me or what, but that tends to happen when you spend time with these people, even if you're just watching videos, listening to their books. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to tap into the frequencies of these spaces. And I think all of you know how to go there and really experience it. So anybody, any last thoughts before we do our first one? All right, let's get ready. Oh, we'll do the, okay, we'll do the ambiguous touch. All right, so put your hands, your palms face down on your knees, on your lap. And you can start by just staring straight ahead, finding one specific point. And as you stare at that point, put all of your attention into the skin on your palms, all of the molecules that are making contact with your legs. And in a moment, as you continue to stare at that point, I'm going to have you just lift those hands gently enough that they barely lift off your legs, with only one molecule of space between your hands and your legs. And go ahead and do that now. Just lift those hands ever so slightly, just so there's barely space and you're not touching your legs anymore. And notice the texture of the space around you, and maybe the sound of my voice starting to change. And lower those hands just enough, just so they're barely touching your legs, just so you can barely feel them. And notice that strange feeling moving up your arms. And lift them again, just ever so slightly off those legs. And notice the feeling of those hands floating gently in space. And in just a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, you can close your eyes as those hands lower all the way into your lap. And let that happen now. Eyes closing, hands dropping, feeling that weight, and just letting go. And continue to bring your attention into those hands. Those amazing tools that help you navigate the world, to bring your vision to life, to manipulate all of the objects in your surroundings. What a blessing it is to have hands and fingers that help you write, play instruments, use a phone and a computer. And as you feel gratitude for those hands, scan your entire body now and become aware of all of the things that this body does for you that you take for granted. Your eyes to see, your feet and your toes to balance you and move you, your legs for you to stand on, to walk, to run. What an incredible gift. And finally, feel into your heart space. A heart is just a vortex, moving blood and energy through your entire being. And it's one of the most important tools to help you tap into new dimensions, new awarenesses, new insights, love, and even self-esteem. And bring your attention into your brain and into your heart at the same time. Feeling the energy pulsing between the two. Imagine your brain and your heart being synchronized in the same rhythm, the same pulse. And in your mind and in your heart, find an image of that person that you want to tap in to the frequencies of. That person that you want to model. They can be anywhere in time or space, dead or alive. And start to see them very clearly. And get a sense of their facial expressions. Get a sense of the brilliance that they tap into. And you may feel waves of energy from them already moving through you. Notice them doing what they do best in a state of flow, a state of effortlessness. Notice how they breathe and match their breathing. Notice how they feel. And imagine that this person has a cloud of thoughts and inspiration just above their head. And imagine that cloud, that ball of energy just feeding information down into their brain, giving them the ideas, the words, maybe the swing, the ability to paint, whatever that is. And see them as a vessel for that information coming from that ball of energy. And get a sense of what color that ball of energy is. Or that cloud of energy, whatever it looks like. Get a sense of what color it might be, or possibly multiple colors. And imagine now that same energy flowing to the top of your head, flowing into your brain, into every cell, flowing down your spine. All of those positive traits, positive beliefs, incredible skills flowing through every cell of your being. And notice what it feels like. And if there was a sound associated with it, what would you hear? What would you be hearing as this divinely inspired skill sets and information and beliefs flow through you? And what would you see as you performed at this level of ability? And allow that information to flow through you, and imagine there's nothing you can do about it. Almost like it takes on a life of its own, and it gets stronger and more powerful, and all of your cells vibrate in a higher order, a higher frequency that matches the thoughts, beliefs, and skills of this mentor. And from this state of mind, examine the relevant areas of your life. Maybe it's your business, your coaching practice, your hobby. Examine that area of your life in this frequency and notice what's different. If you were to stay in this frequency, in that context, how different would you be? How much more comfortable would you be? How much more in flow would you be? And as you're noticing that feeling in that context, know that anytime you step back into that context, this feeling and those skills will come with you. They will be available to you to use. And when you're sure that you've gotten all of the information and all of the frequency that you need from this mentor, thank them. And know that you can tap into the same thoughts, feelings, and beliefs as them anytime you wish. And when you're sure that's happened, bring your attention back to your hands and feel them again, gently lifting off those legs. And on your exhale, sinking right back down. Wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. In a moment, I'll count from 1 to 5. This frequency will lock into every cell, and you will join me in the Zoom room, ready to share and ready for the next round. 1, feeling more confident and more skilled. 2, to adapt to all of the situations that life throws at you. 3 times more confident, 3 times more charismatic. 4, the rest of your life. 5, eyes opening, feeling great. Did everybody get the feeling? Get some thumbs up. Doreen, you're smiling over there. Did you have a good one?
Also crying. I don't know. It's all right. I suppose.
Okay. Gwen says no colors, not particularly visual. No worries. That's why I try to bring up as many of the modalities as possible. Did you feel it though? Good. Delane, did you have a good one? You look nice and calm. Good. All right, does anyone want to share before we do another round? All right, so this one we're going to have another mentor and we're going to ask them a question. So think of a question, something you would like a solution to. So you're going to go in, you're going to ask them a question. And you're probably going to be surprised by the answer. Or maybe one of those things you're like, oh my gosh, I knew that, but I forgot about it. But it'll give you a good perspective here. All right, does anyone want to share before we do this one? All right. Oh, yes, Diana.
Just to say, I keyed in with Joe Dispenza, which was rather exciting. And my particular thing with learning from him is neuropathy. And he told me some very exciting things and we will continue. I will continue learning.
He
So
just
I'll-
he just told you that in this last hypnosis?
Yep,
That's pretty cool.
it was. Thank you.
My pleasure. So you guys don't need all these other coaches. You just need me, and we'll just hack their minds like this. All right. Let's get comfortable. And I want you to imagine just floating in a mist, like a thick, hypnotic fog. And like that fog just gently kisses every part of you. It holds you. And imagine feeling that fog surrounding you. It's heavy and light at the same time. And imagine looking down and seeing you're standing on a brick road. And feel those maybe cobblestones beneath your feet. And as that mist, that hypnotic fog slowly begins to fade, you look up and see a beautiful museum. And notice the architecture. Maybe there's big pillars or a dome. And notice everything about this incredible museum. And go through the grand entryway up to the front door. And put your hand on the doorknob and feel that. Feel that material. And gently push that door open. Or maybe it's a pull door. I don't know. I'm not there. And go through the door into the entry of this incredible museum, into the atrium. And notice all of the rooms and all of the doors to all of those rooms as you walk around. And maybe you hear your footsteps echoing through that atrium. And place anything in that museum that you would like to see. Maybe statues or plants, artwork, anything that makes it yours. And in a moment, I'm going to have you walk by the doors and find the right and perfect door for this experience. That specific door that has that specific mentor behind it. And as you walk around, find that door, but don't open it quite yet. And stand in front of that door and just notice everything about that door. What you see, how it makes you feel. Maybe you can rub your hands on it and feel the textures of it. Knowing that in a moment, you're going to go through that door and you're going to see that mentor and you're going to be able to ask them a couple questions. And notice that sense of anticipation that the answers that you're going to get could be life-changing. And go ahead and open that door and go into that room and see your mentor under a light, a gentle, glowing light, and the rest of the room is shadow. And see their face. And notice that around them is this energy field. Almost like you can see their aura. And notice what that looks like. And hear their voice greet you, and notice what that sounds like. And notice how it makes you feel to connect with them. And imagine a little string of energy from their energy field connects into your energy field, and you feel a deep sense of rapport with them. And just notice how good that feels. And now's your chance to ask that question. That question that's been on your mind that may shift everything for you. And as you ask that question, let them ponder it for just a moment. And notice the answer that they give. Just allow that to happen. And if you'd like, you can ask them a second question. And notice not just the answer, but how they answer it, their facial expressions, their tone, their pace. And hear that answer. And get a sense of inner knowingness about the guidance you've received, about how it's going to affect you, about what you are now aware of that you weren't aware of just minutes ago. And if you'd like, while we're here, you can ask one more question. And just surrender and allow that answer to come. You may hear it, or you may just feel it in a sense of knowing. And when you're ready, thank them. And allow that cord to dissolve between the two of you. And you can step out of that room and shut the door behind you. Back into the museum atrium. Taking in the sights, noticing how different you feel now. And how that feeling continues to grow as you walk towards the door. You step out into that cobblestone street. Surrounded again by that beautiful hypnotic fog. And feel the weight and the texture of that fog. Transports you all the way back to here. Maybe you feel a strong breeze blow that mist completely away, connecting you with every part of your body, and awareness of your toes and your fingers, your arms and your legs and your joints, and every breath getting quicker and more powerful. And when you're ready, opening your eyes, feeling incredible. All right, we'll do one more, but only if you guys share with me what your experience was like. Sunita, you all right over there? Jolene, yes.
I just felt enlightened is how I felt. Like when I walked out of the room after, I felt lighter and I felt like I knew what to do.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? All you have to do to be enlightened is come to the Ministry of the Mind Calls. That's great. That's great. Do you want to share? Did you get you got the answers that you felt like you wanted? Or answer? Good. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Blaine?
Hello. Oh, that was great fun. There's a TV show over in Ireland, and it's this Irish architect, and he goes around into people's houses and he does them up, right? And I need a bit of work in the house done, and I'm between two builders, so I know which one to go for now. And then there was this thing where he's a mad architect. He does the most impractical designs, and he always goes over budget, like which is great telly, right? But he had this design where there was a window seat, and the whole nation was talking about it. But anyway, he suggested that I put in a window seat, which I thought was hilarious because bad idea. But and will I go over budget? And I said, now if you get any work done, they always go over. But so I was reckoning $5,000 over.
Yes.
But no, only 3. I went, oh, brilliant. So that was lovely.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I love that show, and he's really famous, and he's it's just, I thought that was very, very helpful and positive.
I think the funniest part is that you pick someone who's outlandish and always goes over budget to guide you. Like, I think that's just, that's funny in itself.
Yes, that is hilarious.
That's what came to you. That's what came to you. That's perfect. Okay.
So give me a reframe there.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with it. That's great. Now you have your creative inspiration. All right, who else?
So I was in tears.
Yeah, good. I guess. Well, I don't know. Was it good?
Yeah.
I was thinking good tears. Okay.
I talked to Tony Robbins, and it was like there's a quote: the cave you're afraid to go into holds the treasure you seek.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was. It was like he was like, for my business, all I need to do is what I would do in person with people, but I need to do it virtually. Of like stepping up the charisma and just like getting on camera and doing all this stuff. And it's like letting go of a past identity of like, so the tears were just like, I have to face that fear, which is like,
Well,
not
the good
fear
news
as
is
much as resistance.
we've got a lot of calls and a lot of tools in this community to help you step into that. So it should be a piece of cake, right? Excellent. Good realizations. Anyone else? Yes, Doreen.
Yeah, I was in this amazing Art Nouveau kind of museum, and there was lots of glass. I love glass art. And I was trying to meet with Mercer Peer, but I thought, well, Astra Hicks is is way more exciting. And I would love to channel, just
Mm-hmm.
don't have to think about what you're going to say to anybody, really. But yeah, it was like you need to be more like a child, like I was when I was a child. And
Hmm.
yeah, I need to get back into that power, basically, that, yeah, be more like a kid and
It's a good awareness. We
just
could probably,
play, kind
we
of.
could probably all use some of that.
Yeah. But yeah, Esther Hicks. So.
Okay, very
Cool.
cool. Yeah, great idea. Thanks for sharing. Blaine, you had your hand up again? Yeah?
So we're all in the same quantum field, and I channeled Esther in my first person because I'm going to see them in Edinburgh this weekend.
Okay, awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Certainly, we are sharing some same brainwaves here. Diana, did you have your hand up?
Yeah. I went into a blue door and I met Turner, but I also met my son, who was also a great artist, but died too soon, unfortunately. And I learned a lot from both of them, which was quite amazing. I didn't expect that. And they answered my questions differently, but I got both insights and it was quite inspirational. So I was
Great.
delighted.
That's excellent. That's beautiful. And for you coaches and hypnotists, this is that method of having conversations with a loved one that's passed is a great way to help with grief. Like what I don't know if Diana, if you've been through a similar process, but to have that insight or download of what they would tell you, and I find for a lot of people that helps get some closure and find some peace.
Yes, it was a great comfort to speak to them, actually.
Beautiful. All right, should we do one more? I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I'm going to change it up. Should we do like a spiritual one? Does everyone have, Angela's all for that. Does everyone have like, we'll call it like an avatar, like a being, Christ, Buddha, Krishna, guardian angels that they can at least picture, think of, or intend to work with? Okay. So I'm going to keep it vague enough, but I'm going to have you find a place that's really sacred, whether you've been there or not, something that's deeply peaceful, and then I'll cue you with that being. So, any questions before we get into that? Okay. Well, I can't promise that you're about to become enlightened, but some things happen, right, Dolane? So you never know. This is the energy in this. I've done this before. It's actually, I've only done it for myself, to be honest. I've never taken anyone else through it. But the energy flow can be really, really powerful. So so get ready. All right, so just get comfortable. You can close your eyes. And as you begin to connect again with your breath, you can make any physical adjustments necessary to find the most comfortable position for the body, to feel safe and relax completely. And not yet, but at just a moment, it's going to feel like your consciousness is drifting out of your body, like it's almost like it's being zipped up out of the top of your head and floating into space. And notice that feeling starting at the base of your spine. That life force energy, your awareness, moving up your spine, leaving behind the legs, the torso, moving up your back, feeling that energy moving all the way to the base of your skull. And I don't know if it feels like you're just completely letting go of the body. And feel that energy at the base of your skull drift up into your brain and drift out the top of your head. Just as pure awareness, drifting higher and higher. Drifting through space and time to find the most sacred place that you can think of, that you can create with your mind and your imagination. It could be in nature. It could be some ancient temple or pyramid. A beautiful church. And let your consciousness settle into this sacred place. And feel the energy of this place. Feel the perfect peace, the perfect calm, and the perfect holiness as you drift in a state of pure awareness. And look around and notice what you see. Notice what you hear. And notice what you feel. And as you feel even calmer, see the vision of that holy being, that avatar. And notice their aura. Notice the deep love and gratitude that they hold in their heart and that they distribute to all of mankind. Notice how they breathe and how they move. And get a sense of how present and how generous, how peaceful this being is. And see them hold out their hands, and notice in their hands is glowing balls of energy. Like there's a powerful energy that flows through them that's healing, enlightening. That life force, prana, mana, chi, flows through them as a vessel for that holy energy. And in just a moment, that being is going to walk around and place their hands on the top of your head. And when they do, you may feel electricity moving through your body. You may feel heat or warmth. You may feel cool, whatever the perfect feeling is for you. Sometimes people heal dramatically from this process. Sometimes people simply just feel enlightened but see the energy building up in their hands as they walk closer to you, full of love, full of healing, full of divine power in this sacred place. As I count from 3 to 1, their hands will get closer to your head. You will feel the energy until at 1, they place their hands on your head. And that energy, that life force will circulate through every part of you. In 3, feeling those hands getting closer and closer to the top of your head. 2, feeling that energy stronger and stronger. 1, feeling that energy flowing through the top of your head, down through your shoulders, through every cell in your body. And just surrender to it. That's right. Feeling the emotion, the power, the love, the gratitude. And feel it. Open your heart and flush out any stagnant or stuck energy completely. As you become a pure vessel, channel for this energy and this blessing. And notice it flowing exactly where you need it. And notice how your energy field has changed. Maybe you've changed. And notice what your life is like in this state of calm, perfect peace. What are your relationships like? And you can take a moment and thank that divine being, that avatar, for the blessing. And take a moment to just memorize and connect with this sacred space, knowing that you can come back here anytime. And anytime you imagine being back in this space, you will feel these feelings. You will experience this. It's all inside the power of your mind. And allow your consciousness to flow back through time and space beyond any limitations. Finding its way back into that incredible, miraculous body. Floating just above the top of your head, bringing this energy, this frequency back down into your head, filling your brain, flowing down your spine, flowing through every nerve and fiber, back into every organ system, all the way to the base of your spine. Bring your consciousness fully into that body. You may feel your heart pumping blood. You may feel those incredible muscles that move you through the world. You may notice how different you're already feeling and how incredible your mind truly is. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, take one deep breath in and hold it. Allow that oxygen to saturate into every cell. And when you're ready, one big exhale. Exhaling all stuck, stagnant energy. Finding your way into this moment, into your body, into an incredible feeling that allows you to open your eyes and join me on the Zoom call, feeling amazing. Well, I could feel it, so I'm pretty sure some of you felt it.
I was in a cave in the Himalayas, like where the monks, except the monk that showed up, it was Jesus. It was pretty powerful. It was awesome.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and the opening of the heart is just beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
Good. Thanks for sharing. Andrea, you wanted to say something, I could tell.
Why do you always do that to me?
I'm a mind reader. What do you want me to say? I don't know.
Oh God. Yeah, retune that mind. I think it's picking up the wrong frequency. I was thinking, what can I say? I ended up with Archangel Michael. I ended up, there's a lot of heart trouble, not necessarily mine, but I can feel it. And I ended up with a feeling of like heartburn, which was quite weird. It passed afterwards, but for a period of time, there was something there that I don't think was mine.
Okay.
I do pick
Energy moving through the system. Like when you're moving energy through and it hits blocks or hits things, it can be a little uncomfortable at times. So I totally understand that feeling.
Okay. But I do also pick other people's energy up as well. So
yeah, that could be someone else's.
Yeah, I think it might be.
That you've completely flushed out now.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Did anyone else have a good experience?
I did. I've been to this temple many, many times, and it starts off looking like a big cave with crystals around it, but there's an altar and all that on there. And then it turned in more of just a space. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, Mother Mary was there. And she had on her blue gown. She took off the hood. And she was just kind of glowing. And then as she walked to me, she, like you said, put her hands on my head. By then I was kneeling, and she put her hands on my head, and then she cupped my face and she pulled me up and she gave me a big hug. And she says, "You're already special. You just need to own it and stop hiding."
Was that pretty emotional for you?
It really was. Because she's so much love and peace, you know? And to me, there's a lot of joy there too. So, yeah.
Very cool. And this is probably something that all of you experience, like Sunday service when you would go to church. Your priest or your pastor, they hypnotize you and have you use the power of your mind to access these experiences, right? We've all experienced that at church. No, not so much.
Oh, it's the music. It's the music for me. This church I used to go to, when you would walk in the door, it's like you could just see the angels flying around the ceiling, you know.
Very cool.
It was something about the music there.
Yeah. Yeah, those cathedrals in Europe are just unbelievable. The size and anyway, that's probably where I would have gone, is some of those cathedrals are pretty neat spaces. All right, well, that wraps it up. Does anyone else want to share before we call it a day? Yes, Lynn.
I had a secular experience. I'm not religious at all, but it was a great experience. And my sacred place was a cloud, and my being wasn't a being at all. It was the sun. And yeah, I had a really nice experience, and I felt the energy moving, and just felt going there. It was very, very
Well,
pleasant.
I hate to break it to you, but many religions worship the sun, so that might not be as secular as you think.
Yeah,
Okay,
but it was
awesome.
really nice, really good experience. Thank you.
Good,
Can
good.
I just say, I'm glad everybody clarified when you first said that, Lynn, it was, I'm not very religious, so I had a sexual experience.
That's
Like,
what I thought at
wait
first.
a second.
Sexual
Later.
experiences can be very religious.
Later, that's going
Absolutely.
to be.
Secular, yes, yes, close enough. Doreen, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, well, I didn't go out of my body. So yeah, it sort of kind of stopped here, but then it got really, my body got really, yeah, I get this hot feeling, especially in my chest. It was like really, really warm. And sort of the message was like, I didn't really see a deity or something either. I tried to picture some Tibetan, but I thought, ah, this bullshit. And then it was like, yeah, the sacred space is your body. And that was like, okay, wow, that's good.
It is, this is why these are where our temples are, right?
Yeah.
That's what a lot of biblical symbolism is, that in many religious lore, anytime they talk about someone going into a cave, it actually means going into their own mind, and the body is the temple. So very cool.
Yeah, I did feel like something on my head and going down with when you talked about that, but yeah, it was nothing like visual or visible. It was just like energy or something, and that felt really intense. Yeah,
Good.
so it was good.
Well, I
Yeah,
use a lot of
the
times
feeling
like,
thing.
good. Yeah. Well, my goal is to get the visuals and the auditory to create the feeling, because, the feeling is the secret. The feeling is the thing we really want. So you don't need all of the, the whole experience, but the feeling is that's kind of the goal that I'm driving towards. So glad you were feeling it. Yes, Lynn?
Sorry, I meant to say as well, I felt expansion as well. I really felt that I wasn't in my, yeah, it was expanded.
Good.
Let you know that.
Good.
And I have a question that's
Mhm.
off topic a little bit, but it came to me that I do have this like charismatic energy, and I just want to share. And then I notice I feel reserved. That doesn't feel like natural, but it feels normal. And I'm thinking that there's a sense of grace that I embody so much, especially the last couple of years in Mexico. And it feels like stepping into the more charismatic energy is like a little bit unleashing myself, like I'm going to lose the grace. Like, does that make sense?
A little bit. Yeah, well, it's, you don't want to step into this like something that's not authentic to you. And so I think what you should do is find the perfect, like when you're serving and leading and doing workshops or whatever you're going to do, imagine it going the way you want to go, and your mind will find the right energy for you to be in. And you'll be like, oh, this is where I'm comfortable. Because if, like, you've seen me at my event, like I'll step into that like warrior energy, but sometimes that's forced, like it's great for that moment, but I don't want to go and I don't want to have to, like, I've done this before where I try to force myself into these different states and it feels good. I don't think it's sustainable though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you have to find the most authentic place for you to serve from.
Right. That's where I remember one conversation we had at Resonance where there wasn't a lot of women leaders, like in the sacred feminine. And so I don't see it as much as I see other energies. And so that's where it's like, you're right, that I just have to tune into it myself. Like what's me, what's authentic.
Yeah, good.
Thanks.
We have all women on here today. This is great. I just noticed that. Okay, well, anyone else want to share? I think next week we're going to wrap up the 3rd week of the storytelling masterclass. So if you haven't yet, listen to those first 2 modules. I had somebody, who was it, Angela? Somebody messaged me that they didn't have access to it, and I fixed that. So if you don't have access to the storytelling course, it's a separate course. There's 2 modules in it right now. If you don't have access, let me know. And if you can't log into ClickFunnels, I'll just shoot you the links for it. But next week we'll wrap that up.
And then we do the money one, right?
And then we got to work on the money one. Yeah, I'll be driving a lot this weekend, so I might start wrapping my mind around that. So I think I got it. Someone else messaged me today for that as well. So excellent. Was this fun? Was this a good experience? Quantum modeling. All right. Well, it's great to see all of you. Have an amazing rest of the week and weekend. And thanks for being flexible and letting me do this call today. And I will see you next Thursday, back to our regularly scheduled time.
Thank you, Nick. It was really great. Great
everyone.
weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Weekend,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Thanks so much.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I was,
Everybody.
do you have an update on Freddie? Sorry.
I talked to him last week. He was going to try to jump on the call, and I think he was just too tired still. So it's been a few days since I've heard from him, but I know he was resting. But you might know more
Yeah,
than
he's still feeling a bit tired. Yeah.
which I'm.
But okay. He said he feels like but tired,
Yeah, good.
which is understandable, isn't it?
I would think so. I would think after something that intense. So,
Thank you.
Anyway.
all right. See
Okay,
you.
have a good trip then.
Oh, and
Thank
good
you.
luck with your
Lots of
law.
success.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.